Good morning, everybody. It is your best friend Justin from J Master Productions. So glad you can join me today. I have a great topic that I want to discuss with you guys, and join me as we go for a walk here in Jersey City, New Jersey, practically where I grew up, and I still live in New Jersey. So I'm a New Jersey native. The state means a lot to me. I don't plan on leaving this state. My family lives here. All my friends are here. So this state means a lot to me. It really truly does. This area to say. Not that I'm all prideful about states and countries and all that stuff, but when it comes to the area, it means a lot to me. North Jersey specifically. So I wanted to talk today about the sacred feminine. And when you hear that, you might think of, oh, well, women, being a certain way because they were born female, all that stuff, and how they like to play with Barbie dolls, hair, makeup, the dating shows, submissiveness, cooking, cleaning, right? You might think of all those things when you think of, oh, sacred feminine. That means women being feminine and submitting to men and all that stuff. And that's a lot of what it's kind of become in the modern world, right? Thanks to the red pill community and the semi influencers, as I call them, like Jake Shields, Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens, Myron Gaines, the whole red pill dating community on YouTube. Like, right, all these people are hyper masculine. They push a hyper masculine agenda because most of their audience is younger men. Obviously, we've had feminism that's really destroyed the sacred feminine in women and especially in men throughout the years. And that kicked off in the 70s. That agenda is long done. You could see the repercussions now of how, with my generation, especially younger, we're not interacting nearly as much, not forming meaningful relationships, connections, not even interacting much as a whole, as I've spoken about many times on this channel. But when it comes to the sacred feminine, what I mean is unlocking certain energies that we all possess and that we all need to expand our consciousness to realize the flaws within ourselves to access this within our psyche, right? When it comes to the sacred feminine, that's really all about the nurturing, care, uh, feeling empathy for people. And it's not. And what are we gonna sit here and say that only women can feel these things? Obviously, they feel it to a much more on a much more intense level because women, yes, are more emotional than men. Men are more logical overall, and so a lot of women, but obviously the woman is completely led by their emotions today because what's gone on is feminism has destroyed the sacred feminine in women, which is like feeling empathy, being nurturing, caring, um, being like a community housemaker, as you should say, like raising a family, but not just a family in the household, the community, bringing people together, rebirthing, bringing life into the world. The sacred feminine is very important because it's all about feeling it. It's all about feeling empathy. It's all about stepping into one's shoes and knowing and understanding exactly what might go through. And this is such an extensive, deep topic. I will not be able to explain everything at all in this one video here. But I just want to give you like a general idea that it's not like just because you hear that word sacred feminine that it's just women. You see, I possess a ton of sacred femininity within myself because I feel so much empathy. I feel the pain that people go through, which is why I do what I do. I want to be there for people. I want to be there as a support system. I want to be loyal to people. I want to be someone people can count on, things of that nature. I want to be someone that can help bring life into this world and raise new life and teach the youth and all these things. You see, these are feminine, what you call quote unquote feminine traits. And like I said earlier, like the red pill community, the semi big influencers like Andrew Tate and Nick Fuentes and Jake Shield, all these guys, Candace Owens, right? Like they make it seem like that's just you being a bitch, right? That's you being like a feminine male and all these things, and you hear it. And listen, there's a difference between a man being flamboyant and a man being able to tap into the feminine energies that we all possess. Because again, like I said in the beginning of this video, the sacred feminine, as opposed to the sacred masculine, has been attacked the most. And a small example I can give is with feminism with women, which is why a lot of women today, American women, feel no empathy for the modern man and what we go through. Right? We it's become like jokes on social media. A lot of men have woken up because, like I said, a lot of men are grown. Like a lot of men grew up in the technology generation. A lot of us are in our 30s. All these things. We're grown, and became very apparent to us that like the women in our country, it seems, don't really seem to like as much, which is why there's a whole passport bros thing, like why men are going to other countries to find women and femininity and wives. And I totally understand that, because I agree. Because it's crazy that in my own country that I grew up in, I mean, the women are just very corrupt. And I'm not saying the men aren't either. You see a lot of men now have become kind of bitter, angry, mad, like they're searching for answers. And of course, because the powers that be don't want you to know about the sacred feminine and how you can really use that to utilize change in this world, especially women, which I'll get to in a moment here. But when you start searching for things, you might come across like hardcore political influencers that are very right leaning, maybe even the opposite if you lean that side or whatever. But you come across negative influences on the internet because that's what happened to me at least. What year is it? It was maybe 6 years ago when I first stumbled across Red Pill. It was like 2019. So this is just what's going to happen is obviously the powers that be have layers to where you can actually find truth, and you have to also have discernment yourself and understand when someone is telling you the truth and when someone is lying to you. You have to do research on the person, on what they're talking about. It takes time. We can't just make such a judgment call at first unless you already know facts for facts. So when it comes to the woman, right? Though I mean, women have no idea how much power they have right now. I think they do actually. I shouldn't even say they don't know, but they're using it for evil, right? And this is what I mean. The sacred feminine has been weaponized, especially against men, because no, most women, especially in the U.S., are not in their what you would call feminine framed. A lot of them are very masculine. You see, a lot of us are very. I would say most people are hyper masculine in their character, their frame, the way they think. That's how they are because it's all about domination, control, money. Like, what can I get out of this person? What can I squeeze out of this person? It's nothing is really that genuine. So a lot of women, a lot of men now, especially, are in their hyper masculine frame, and so because a lot of us don't feel empathy, a lot of us really don't have care, a lot of us only care about ourselves, a lot of us don't go around in our communities and try to make change and spread positivity. A lot of us lie all the time to make us with the other person feel comfortable, and that's not true femininity. That the true feminine is loving someone, feeling that love for someone, that care, and knowing that, wow, if I lie to this person, it's going to negatively affect their life, and knowing that if you tell this person the truth, even though it might hurt their feelings, it's that hurt feeling is going to pass, and hopefully when their logicality kicks back in, they'll realize and thank you that, oh, you were right, thank you for sharing that with me. The women right now can make a huge change by changing what they support. If they tap into that femininity and realize right from wrong, and if they can just only identify like true morality compared to immorality, because a lot of people in general don't really know what true morality is, even though most people would say, oh yeah, I'm a moral person, I believe in that, yeah, we should have a moral society. It's like everyone, the way people act is in complete contradiction of their words, and that goes for 99% of people. People will say they believe one thing but completely do another thing, and believe in it wholeheartedly. In fact, people don't even realize how they're contradicting their words. That's how ignorant of a society we have. But if the woman, let's say for example, stops supporting like dominators, like all these entrepreneurs, like rappers, people like P Diddy, the guys who are a-holes and drive nice cars and have all this power, maybe all this clout, all this money, right? If they didn't support that, if they stopped supporting police, military, all these dominators, politicians especially, if they stopped being all political women and realized, oh, the truth is actually that the Federal Reserve came here in 1913 in the United States and they control politics. Imagine like most women wholeheartedly knew that and believed that and educated men on that, how much of a change you would see in this world. Because let's be real, the men are gonna follow what women do, and that's like how society has gone. A lot of men are so lonely and desperate these days, that they conform to what women want. They don't really know how to act around women. Even most men, like the average man has had very limited interaction with women throughout their life, so they don't really know how the modern woman is. They have a false version of what it is because this is a different topic of what they've seen on social media, this and that, and that's because again, a lot of guys, a lot of people in general, they don't know the truth. The truth, they don't understand truth. A lot of them never heard it before. A lot of them don't look into it enough. A lot of them get scared of it and stop looking into it and say, oh, this is stupid, because they get scared, right? But if women, let's say also during the C19, let's say all women did not go along with it, I guarantee you all men wouldn't have gone along with it. But because you have social pressure, right? You have shaming, because there's a lot of shaming that will come from the woman, right? If they believe that a man should be a certain way or do a certain thing, and the man disagrees or doesn't do it, there's shaming. So a man will conform because he wants to be accepted by women. And this is how women in their masculine frame, which is being used for evil, because you gotta understand the sacred feminine, the sacred masculine, it can be used for good, but it could also be used for evil. You can use it against people, which is what's going on now with the sacred masculine. It's like that's being used against all of us. And then you have the sacred feminine, which is more so hidden and buried, if that makes any sense. It's what a lot of us were, or I should say, I definitely used to be in a hyper masculine frame, and those who know me definitely knew that. Even just a couple years ago, I was in that mind frame because I started waking up to truth in like 2017. But then it goes so deep, truth. It started off with the Hollywood stuff, 9/11, then it went to the Federal Reserve and religion and all those things. So I'm not gonna get into that. That's a different topic. But I hope I'm making sense. It's people could tap in to their side of feeling empathy and feeling love for another person, that they tell them the truth. You see, when I live my life, I talk about these things with people. I'm not weird about it. I'm not crazy. I'm not an a-hole about it. People are definitely going to disagree with me. Most people just don't even understand what I'm talking about. That's the biggest thing. Like, they don't understand it. They've never heard of it before, or at least someone get so deep into it like me. And this is what I do. This is how I show love for people, by doing this, putting myself out here, talking about it with people as much as I can, making it fun for people, making it an educational thing that people want to learn, and making it apparent that I care, and making it apparent that I'm loyal, and making it apparent that if you have any questions, I'm here to answer. And if you don't believe me, simply just look into it, and we can discuss if who's right and who's wrong, if you want to even put it that way. It's just what I'm saying I know is correct. That's the thing. And this is the sacred masculine that I just expressed right there, is knowing the facts, accepting the facts, right? Taking action. That's, you see, starts with the sacred feminine. You feel, right? Okay, you start to understand that, well, if I don't do something, this is going to hurt other people. And then you take the action. And you stay consistent at it. That's the sacred masculine. When you go after it and you stay consistent at it, and no matter what happens, you just keep going. That's the sacred masculine, right? Because you're taking action. And this is something women possess. We all possess this. This isn't just like a man thing. It's just, yes, because men are men, born biological male. They have more testosterone, more logicality in them. So, right, it's men are more easily able to tap into that, maybe than a woman. But there's plenty of women who can tap into that. I'd say a lot of women are actually in that mode right now with masculinity, taking action with school, getting good grades, graduating, getting a job, working the job. But it's being weaponized because they're not doing it for the betterment of humanity. They're doing it so that they don't need a man. Does that make sense? They're not. These things are being weaponized against us in every way, shape, and form. And imagine women stood up and were like, we don't want to pay taxes anymore, this and that. Let's do something about taxes and all these things. How much men would follow that? Because right now it's the Me Too movement and feminism, women's rights, and all these things that are again is being used all against us. And a lot of men will even conform to that just so they can maybe get in bed with one of these women, right? Or so that they can just be around women and be accepted by them, even though maybe they're compromising their actual beliefs or morals. So I think I made sense with what I said here. It's just women have a lot of power. It's just they have to start feeling empathy, one, for men, what we've been through, because you gotta understand, ladies, a lot of men like go their whole lives without really much interaction with women, because most men are just ignored. And a lot of women will say everyone deserves to be loved, this and that. But again, a lot of these women, their actions completely contradict their words. And a lot of men not every man is stupid, because, I mean, a lot of men have woken up because of red pill and hypermasculine influences and even just their own experiences, things like that. So a lot of men are now bitter and mad. And it's like, if you just show them that love, that compassion, that kindness that you can actually tap into, whatever way that might be. I can't give you like every answer. You have to figure out how to do it in your own way. But I promise you'll get good reactions from men, because vast majority of men I know that are single are pretty good men, decent men. They might not be like some Zac Efron looking dude, might not be in the best shape, which is, of course, on them to maybe fix some of those things. Um, in terms of the social skills and going to the gym, things like that. But let's help them get there. Let's not shame each other. Same with men against women. Let's not fat shame women. Let's encourage. Don't call each other. Unless someone is telling you names in a derogatory way, I don't believe that we should influence people with insults. Let's encourage people instead. Tell them what they need to do. If they don't make the change, then you can start getting on their ass a little bit, maybe throwing an insult a little here and there, because sometimes people deserve to be talked to a certain way in order to just wake up a bit in their noggin. I know I need to be talked to a certain way sometimes just to get through my head sometimes, especially when I was younger. But anyway, I think I said enough in this video. Let me know what you guys think about everything I said. I'll definitely be speaking on these topics more and deeper and a lot more extensively because there's too much to say on this. But I just wanted to kind of give an overview on the sacred feminine and how it's been hidden from us, even weaponized against us. And same with the sacred masculine, which maybe in another video I can get into that. But this is your best friend, Justin. I appreciate if you watched until the end here. Please like, share, leave a comment, and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one.